If you're wanting to get your home onto the market, you're doubtlessly thinking to yourself, what are the best marketing strategies we need to do in order to get our house in front of as many people as possible and really maximize our reach and be able to reach as many qualified buyers as possible? My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today, what we're going to be talking about are what are the most effective marketing strategies you can use as we are getting your property ready for the market. So these are going to be kind of the general package that I work with as we're getting your property ready to sell. Sometimes there's something very unique about the property and we need to do something a little bit different, or circumstances surrounding it might be a little different. Maybe you don't want a ton of publicity around the property. You don't want all the neighbors to know that you're moving, in which case, yeah, obviously we're going to do something a little bit different. But this is going to be the overall philosophy and the strategies that I use and the Goecker Group uses in order to help you to maximize what you can get on your property. So we'll jump into that in just a minute. If you haven't done so already, thumbs up, subscribe, and let's jump into today's video. The online presence that your property has nowadays is very, very critical. The days where people simply drove around, looked at properties and hoped to see a for sale sign on a property, not very common at all. I've heard of a couple people doing it like a decade ago, but for the most part, that's kind of gone by the wayside. So with that being the case, we have to have a combination of having a very strong online presence, but also having a on-the-ground presence where we do have the for sale sign, the flyers, all that stuff as well. But the important thing is that we have a combination strategy of both of those, so we're not leaving any stone unturned as we're trying to find a qualified buyer for you. Now, on the digital side, the most important thing we can do right off the bat is to make sure that we have professional, sharp looking pictures for you that are going to be available online. Now, the reason we do this is because if we don't, your house is going to stand out in a bad way. I really shouldn't have to talk too much about this, but nowadays, just about every property that's selling has professional photos on it, and they look sharp and they pop when people open them up. And that's because everybody is looking through Zillow, and if it doesn't look good on those pictures, most people will just keep swiping. So for that reason, we want to make sure we stand out in a good way with having those professional pictures. The next thing that we do, and this is a little bit different, but I actually do focus on having your property shot in 360 video. So this doesn't cost you anything extra. This is something that I just do. And what 360 video is, you can go check that out in other places here on my YouTube channel. But what it is the camera is set up and it captures not just in the direction that it's pointing, but it captures everything around it, everything in every direction. Now, the reason that's really good is because the consumer or the buyer can go in later and they can actually look in any direction around them. They can either use the screen with just on like a regular phone and look in any direction on what's going on there. Or if they're wearing an Oculus headset, they can just have it and look in any direction. And for all intents and purposes, they're there. Now that increases a lot of confidence in buyers who are out of state. And this is really important because we have a lot of folks that would buy who are out of state, but they just don't feel as confident because they know the pictures that we're showing are giving the best view of the house. But if it's a 360 video, they have way more confidence in it just because it's them, and they can look around and they can verify for themselves that it is what they are anticipating it being. So for that reason, we do shoot it in 360 video. Now, the next thing that we do is we have Facebook and YouTube ads. So YouTube ads are critical. And the reason for that is that YouTube is owned by Google, and Google collects all the analytics that we need for consumers in this area. I've been advertising on YouTube for a while, and so I actually do have a list of about a couple thousand people whose consumer habits show that they are going to be in the market for purchasing a house in the near future. So we can have ads that I create that go directly to those people, and then shown by the analytics with Google, they are a very high likelihood that they are actually going to be in the market looking for a home. The other category that we do work towards is Facebook. I'll put them on there. I'm not really expecting a huge result from that. Facebook has kind of been a mixed bag. Usually we just get a bunch of kind of unqualified buyers. So for that reason, I prefer to focus more on YouTube, because that's a much more in-depth analysis behind it for what people are realistically going to be looking for properties in the near future. So that's going to be a big part of what our online presence is going to look like. Let's take a break here real quick. If this is something that really does interest you, and you're trying to decide what your next steps are as you're getting your property ready to go onto the market, do make sure that you subscribe to my my website down below. Go ahead and register for that. If you like a copy of my seller guide, go ahead and just say seller guide in the little comment section, so I know exactly what to send you, and that'll give you a pretty good breakdown for what your next step should be as you're getting your property ready for the market. So do take advantage of that, and let's go and finish today's video. Now, switching gears a little bit and looking more to the on-the-ground marketing. So on-the-ground marketing, that's going to include things more like the flyers, the for sale sign. Open houses are big. Okay, so for some people, open houses is going to be a big thing. But keep in mind, only 1% of the houses that have sold recently sold because of the open house. So the chances of a buyer walking into the house and then buying that house, pretty slim. About 1% of the overall houses sold because of that. So it's not likely, but the reason we still do it is because it gives us an opportunity to advertise the property even more and keep that more public facing and more ads talking about that house. Just now it's an open house. So that's one of the reasons that we do it. Just to make sure that we keep as much publicity for your property going as we possibly can. Additionally, what we'll do is we'll actually go door knock everybody there in the immediate neighborhood. And the goal isn't to find someone who's planning on moving a couple doors down to your house, okay? So that's not the plan. The goal and the strategy is to find somebody who knows somebody who would like to move into the area. And the fact of the matter is, most people are going to know somebody like them. And if they're living in that area, chances are they know someone else who would at least be interested in moving into that area. Last but not least, I also do circle prospecting as well. Now, what this means is it's kind of like door knocking, where we just find the phone numbers for the folks in the area that are not on the do not call registry, and we just call them up, kind of with the same strategy of saying, hey, we're selling so-and-so property down the road. Do you happen to know anyone who's interested in moving into the area? So this is kind of your wide spectrum of places and strategies that we're going to use to get your property sold. Now, one thing that really does make us unique is we already have a really sizable YouTube presence. So for things like that 360 video, that's going to be targeting more people who are out of state, then this is usually the place where a lot of folks who are out of state are going to be looking. So when we post it on there, you're going to be tapping into that pool of out-of-state buyers who are usually very qualified, very motivated people, way better than other people can, because this is a source where they do come to get a lot of their questions answered. So for that reason, we do really have a much more comprehensive marketing package than other people can provide. And obviously, we do syndication, sends out to all the different websites, just like everybody else. So I sure hope this is useful for you. This gives you a little bit of clarity. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or on my website down below, and be happy to answer those for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.